Classic thumbnail. Hello everybody, my name is Joshua and I'd like to welcome you back to another episode of Coffee, Cats, and King, where we will discuss books both new and old. I will share with you pictures of my cats, will make you wish they were your cats, and I will drink enough coffee for me and everybody watching. And the mug this morning is my Punisher mug. Shirt is from a local coffee shop. Very cool design on there. And as you saw, my book buying ban is officially over. Technically, I guess I didn't finish it. I think officially I was at 46 or 47 books of the 50 that I intended to finish. Regardless, the goal was 50 books, and then I was just going to buy a couple, you know, because I'm trying to make some room on this shelf over here. But that didn't happen because I finished those 46, 47 books, and I have 21 new books here. There are actually 2 more coming in the mail from eBay, so it doesn't do me a whole lot of good really when I just I just filled spots for half the books that I've finished. But you know, that's okay. That's what it is to be what we are, guys, and that's okay. Much better that we spend ludicrous amounts of money on books than on you know, drugs or illegal baby animals or something. I don't know. But we are going to do this today kind of in the style that I've seen Alex the Bookkeepers do it, where I have a nice pretty area laid out. I show you the books on there and I talk about them that way. Once we are lessening the amount of time that this is on camera this morning, because this is another 4 a.m. filming for me. It's the only way I'm gonna get it in. Hence the reason I probably sound a little odd, or odder than usual anyway. So let's go on and get into the books, because I have a pretty awesome mix here and I'm very excited about it. Alright, we're going to jump right into it with Robert Sheckley's Pilgrimage to Earth. I'll be honest, I might actually have this one on my shelf already from that massive science fiction haul. I'm led to believe that because when I showed it to Paige, she immediately said, "I recognize that cover," and her memory is near on infallible. And if so, anyone who wants it, these are short stories from Mr. Robert Sheckley. Goodwill is kind of culling their books, unfortunately. So actually, any paperbacks are 50 cents. Hardcovers are $1. Hard to pass up a book for that kind of price. Next, we have Henry James with Turn of the Screw and Daisy Miller. Beautiful cover here. Henry James, of course, probably best known for Turn of the Screw. Very, very old horror here, but classic, and again, gorgeous cover. Couldn't pass it up. Now, this is one that I don't really know anything about, but the cover definitely caught my eye. This is Andrew Clavin with The Uncanny. If anyone down below has read it, please let me know. I know that it is about a man who produces horror films and meets a woman who brings him to the edge of terror and erotica. So it's going to be one of those quote-unquote sexy horrors, but I don't know. Very cool cover though. Very eye-catching. Alright, now these next two I did get off of eBay. This is Daryl Schwitzer with Discovering Stephen King. And this is essays about, well, 7 of his books. This is an old collection. I think it's from '85. And actually it's a very small press thing. You can see it's almost, I mean, the font in here is well, hard to see in here, but the font in here, you can tell that this is an old book and it was a very low production book, but I'm very excited to have it. It looks great. I got an awesome deal for it, and it came with this one, which has an even better cover. This is Michael Collins and David, well, that's an unfortunate last name, unfortunately because I don't know how to say it, but this is the shorter works of Stephen King with a really cool cover that I'm taking to involve Jerusalem's Lot, the short story that's the basis of Salem's Lot, but it could be one of his others. It could be Night Flyers or something like that. Either way, two collections here about his work. Very excited to delve into them, and these are a little tougher to find. I was very lucky to find both for about $5. Alright, here we have Peter Hamill with Forever. And this is about an Irishman who goes to Manhattan Island in 1760, I believe. And through some odd means, he is granted immortality with the stipulation that he is only immortal while he lives on Manhattan Island. So this is the story of him and the story of the growth of Manhattan from 1760 to the present. So it just sounded intriguing. It's not my normal read, but the cover's very pretty. I am Irish, and so yeah, we'll see how it goes. Alright, obviously I could not pass this one up. This is The Pig Scrolls by Grylus the Pig, but actually by Paul Shipton. I couldn't help but pick it up with this cover, and this book is actually about the adventures of Grylus the Pig, and Grylus happens to be one of the members of the original crew of Odysseus, who was turned into a swine by Circe, and this is his story. So, getting into mythology here, which is always cool, but in this case with a protagonist who is a pig. I don't know what more I can say to sell you on this book. Switching gears here quite a bit, this is Aaron Salden with The Dead Enders. It says, it's not the story you'd expect, it never is, in Gold Fork. The cover caught my eye because I love these sort of nostalgic teen crime dramas, especially based on true crimes. But I'm thinking a la River's Edge here, and for some reason this immediately made me think of that. And this is about a group of teenagers living in a small town who apparently commit some sort of crime together, and they have now basically stayed friends so that they can watch over each other and make sure that no one spills the beans, that whatever awful thing they did was in fact them. So, somewhat of an interesting premise, and again, it gave me the kind of, immediately gave me the kind of feeling of River's Edge. So, I'm going to see how it goes. Alright, here we have Lanny Taylor with Fairies of Dream Dark Blackbringer. Very pretty cover here. My sibling Shy assures me that that there's a lot more going on in this bird, that there's actually a scene being played out in this bird if you get up close to it. I can't see it because I'm colorblind, but they assure me that's the case, and then it has this other very pretty illustration there. Now, this is of course fantasy about this fairy who basically goes rogue. What's interesting though is the author of that series that's really big right now. I think the first is Daughter of Smoke or Daughter of Bone or something like that. But this is very early work from her. So I have not read anything from her at this point. The cover though of course caught my eye, and I'm always looking for a good fantasy. I don't know even if this is a YA fantasy or what. I think it is. But if any of you have read it, let me know what you think down below. Next up we have Richard Christian Matheson with Created By. Very cool cover here. Almost has a little bit of a trash polka style to it, which for those of you not familiar is probably one of the zaniest tattoo styles out there, but very cool if you look it up, trash polka. But I don't know that much about this book. I know that it was inspired by Stephen King's The Dark Half, which is one of his lesser works that people don't really talk about as much, but I've always thought it was a pretty cool book. And this is kind of based around that, if you will. A successful author who kind of has two sides to himself, one who does the writing and one who does everything else, but those two sides don't always mesh well together, so he's kind of at odds with himself, but literally in this case. Richard Christian Matheson is of course the son to Richard Matheson, of great fame. I have not read anything by his son other than the occasional short story, so this will be my first long work by Richard Christian Matheson, so very interested to see if he lives up to his father's footsteps. This is not a book, it's a fox. But I got him at a Goodwill. He's adorable, and Havoc keeps trying to eat him. And here we have A Hawk in Silver by Mary Gentle. Very pretty cover there. Again, lovely cover. It's about this girl on the cover here who finds a strange coin on the ground, picks it up as we all do, and the coin basically disappears, and she is pulled under into a fairy hill and learns that two rival fairy factions are battling it out against each other, and congratulations, you are now part of this. So what's interesting is the only other thing that I've read from Mary Gentle is a book called Grunts. I'll put a picture up somewhere in here, which is about, it follows a group of goblins, and it's more military fantasy almost. So this is very much a departure from that. I know that this is a very early book from Mary Gentle, so I don't know, I kind of took a chance on this one. I wasn't wholly sold on the idea yet either, but we'll see how it goes. And this is another one that I just couldn't pass up. This is Shirley Rousset and Pat Murphy with The Cat, the Devil, the Last Escape. Again, awesome cover. That cat face is great. And this is actually the second in a series. I'm going to have to find the first in the series still, but I definitely want to read it because apparently this is a ghost cat, and he is the owner. of a thief. A thief whose family is continuously bothered by the devil. And evidently, in the first book, he beats the devil, but the devil leaves him with some sort of terrible, unlucky curse. And it is once again up to the cat, whose name is Misto, to save the day. So I know that somewhat ruins the first for me, but like I said, I couldn't pass it up. And then when I learned that the series revolves around a ghost cat, I've got to give it a try. This is one of the books that I was most excited to finally get. This is The House Next Door by Ann Rivers Siddons, and this is the Stephen King Horror Library edition, so it has an introduction by the man himself. And Miss Siddons actually wrote mostly romance and historical pieces, if I'm not mistaken, or maybe contemporary pieces. But anyway, horror was not within her realm typically. However, this, I have always been told, is an excellent example of a haunted house story. And so I'm very excited to get into it. This one is always talked about, but I've never had the chance to read it. And this was definitely one of the books that I first saw when I got there, and I decided, okay, yeah, I'm going to break my ban. And I know you guys know that I have a weird thing about Christmas. I love fiction revolving around Christmas, or of course Halloween as well. Normally horror, but in this case this is just a Christmas treasury of Yuletide stories and poems, and it's made up of older stuff, as you'll see here. Robert Frost, T.S. Eliot, Laura Ingalls Wilder, O. Henry, Nathaniel Hawthorne, Louisa May Alcott. So it's all older stuff, but it's stories and poems, and I figured I can just read it slowly. Paige actually is a big fan of Miss Laura Ingalls Wilder from back when she was a kid. So last night I sat and read her the story that's in this collection here. I'll pick this up when I need something to just make me feel good and put me in a brighter mood. Alright, this is one I almost didn't pick up because of the reviews on it, but I decided I had to give it a chance. This is The Dinner by Herman Koch. And I'm actually going to read this little part at the front here for you because I feel like it gives you a better idea of the book than I can. On a summer evening in Amsterdam, two couples meet at a fashionable restaurant for dinner. At first, the conversation is a gentle hum of polite small talk, the banality of work, the latest movies they've seen. But behind the empty words, terrible things need to be said, and with every forced smile and every new course, the knives are being sharpened. Each couple has a 15-year-old son. The two boys are united by their accountability for a single horrific act, an act that has triggered a police investigation and shattered the comfortable, insulated worlds of their families. When the dinner reaches its culinary climax, the conversation finally touches on their children. As civility and friendship disintegrate, each couple shows just how far they are prepared to go to protect those they love. So, what interested me about this book, it sounds like it's going to be very tense, very suspenseful. One of those books that goes on, it's a slow build, and ends with a hard-hitting climax. And that's kind of what the Goodreads reviews say, but a lot of people don't like this book. I do know that it is supposed to get very bleak, very dark, and they said it does so in a Gone Girl fashion, where when things go wrong, they go very wrong. So I'm intrigued. Like I said, it actually didn't have very good reviews, but I'm gonna give it a try. I have to. It piqued my interest too much not to. Alright, this next one is another that is not a typical read for me, but this is David Attenborough with The Living Planet. And this is of course based off of the television show that he is host of, which is all about nature and planet Earth. And I don't know why, but it piqued my interest. I am a fan of this man. He does great work, and I just felt like I needed a little nonfiction. I really don't have any nonfiction on my shelves. I thought this would be a good one, educational and fun. I'll see how it goes. Now these next two kind of go together. This is Truthwitch and Win Witch, books 1 and 2, in this series by Susan Dennard. And this is a classic fantasy setup where they live in a world where magic is outlawed, magic is banned. Those who show signs of being able to use magic are exiled or killed outright. And our main protagonist here is one of those people. Aside from that, I don't know much else other than it kind of goes into elemental magic here. But very lovely covers on both of them. And I was lucky enough to find books 1 and 2 for $2. So couldn't pass it up. This one is John Saw with Punish the Sinners. Really nice cover on this one, just very simple but very effective. John Saw is kind of a middling horror writer most of the time, in my opinion anyway. But this is one I don't think I've read from him, so we'll see. It says it is: the dark rapture of a medieval terror has come back to claim the innocent, one by one. We'll see. Alright, another nonfiction here. This is Under the Bridge by Rebecca Godfrey. And this is a nonfiction about a crime, well, you folks can read. So, 14-year-old girl, and this was a true case. Essentially a bunch of her classmates, they killed her and left her body there. And this is just as much about the murder as it is about the kids involved mostly getting away with it, because in this little town, not ruining their lives was more important than the death of this 14-year-old girl. And I know it's going to tick me off to even read about this, which is why I normally don't read nonfiction, especially nonfiction true crime. But I'm going to give it a chance. And the final book in this haul is Harlan Ellison's No Doors, No Windows, which has a really great cover here. And this is short stories by Harlan Ellison. I very much have, well, most of the time a hate relationship with Harlan. He's just one of those guys, you know. He had a couple really great publications. Of course, I Have No Mouth and I Must Scream being the one that most people know. But he just thought he was the greatest gift to writing of all time. And he wasn't. He was just kind of a pretentious douchebag most of the time. But that said, he does have a couple good stories here and there, and I'm hoping that some of them are in this really cool looking collection. So that's it for the books, guys. Like I said, 21 of them there. I have 2 more coming that I will show off whenever they get here. But yeah, I got a good mix. I got fantasy, I got a little science fiction, plenty of horror, and even some nonfiction. So pretty decent mix, I think. And again, all told, 50 cents a paperback, $1 a hardcover. It really wasn't all that bad. But let me know what you think down below. Of course, I'm sure some of you read some of these books. Tell me what I got that was good, that was worth reading, and what I didn't. In particular, if anyone has read The Dinner, give me your thoughts, because like I said, to me it sounded great, but the reviews were not so great. So, I don't know, but we're going to call it quits here. I will be back very soon. I have a couple great reviews that I'm looking forward to sharing with you folks. So stay safe, drink great coffee, spend time with your animals if you have any, or your loved ones if you don't have animals instead. And that'll do it. Thanks, guys. Cheers.